Crossplay continues to be the big topic of discussion this week in light of Sony finally deciding that they're going to yield on their apprehensive stance on lifting restrictions. Just a few days ago, PlayStation 4 was the only major current generation console that was impeding developers' ability to implement the feature across all major consoles. But that's all changing soon, with the publisher deciding to test cross-platform functionalities with a Fortnite beta. And should these tests prove to be successful, they'll move on to allowing other titles to implement them as well. Now, one question that a lot of people have on their minds is what took Sony so long to finally give the go-ahead on something so universally requested? Even Nintendo was open to allowing cross-play for games like Rocket League and Minecraft and Fortnite, and Switch launched much later than the competition. Well, according to PlayStation boss Shawn, in a statement he provided during episode 308 of PlayStation Blogcast, here's what he had to say. We know this is a want, this is a desire, and we want to be able to deliver that in the best way possible. Now, enabling crossplay isn't just about flipping a switch and there you go. It's a very multi-dimensional kind of attribute or feature. So we had to look at it from a technical point of view, we have to work with our partners from a business point of view, we have to make sure that if we enable this, do we have the right customer service support? Do we have the right messaging out there? Do we have all these different things that you have to get in line? It's rather ordinal, they have to go in a certain order to get them all set up. That's why, though it's taken us longer, certainly than even I would have wanted, but it took as long as it was going to take to get it ready and get it done, which is why we're able to not only announce it on this past Tuesday, but also enable it at the same time. Funny that Shawn should talk about flipping a switch because as far as Fortnite goes, all it literally took was flipping a switch for the feature to be activated. So easy was it to implement crossplay that only a year ago on September 18th, 2017, the feature was enabled by accident, and for a short period of time, Xbox One and PlayStation 4 Fortnite players played the game together in harmony. Which is why I'm going to call bullshit on the notion that there was anything complicated on the technical side of things, or that this is something they've been working on for a very long time. It's safer to say, in my opinion, that Sony has been sitting on crossplay and waiting for the storm to pass, for the complaints against their stance to die down. And when they didn't die down, that's when they finally took action. They simply started thinking about implementing it after making headlines and after they got flack when players realized Sony was holding their Epic Games account and Fortnite progression hostage. I'm not saying Shawn is entirely wrong about implementing crossplay being this multifaceted, multidimensional attribute. I'm not saying it doesn't require some behind-the-scenes planning and discussion to execute. All I'm saying is that I would gamble that the planning and discussion phase didn't really begin until quite recently, because time and again it's been proven that crossplay really isn't rocket science. It's just a matter of publishers allowing it and developers willing to properly implement it. If Sony had really been actively pursuing crossplay a year ago, then I believe PS4, Xbox One, and Switch users would be playing together a year ago. They wouldn't have danced around the issue with lame excuses like how it's about protecting young players from external influences, or how they're locking down Fortnite accounts because they believe that games like Fortnite are just better on PS4 and they feel they get to decide for us what the best user experience is. Hell, crossplay is easy enough to implement that even Nintendo was ahead of the curve on that front, and they can barely figure out how to do voice chat for Switch, so that should tell you something. With all that said though, the important thing right now is that Sony did finally decide to join the fray and is finally willing to cooperate in the endeavor of making online gaming more convenient and unified moving forward, and I'm sure it had in no small part to do with both the gaming community and developers being vocal about this issue. Moving on, Shawn talked a bit about how the Fortnite cross-platform beta is going so far, about which he had this to say. I haven't heard any feedback about disruptions. It is a beta test, so we expect maybe there will be some hiccups along the way, but we'll watch that carefully. We're just delighted people are out there getting what they want and not tweeting me so much. You and me both, buddy. You and me both. Finally, when asked about when we can expect other games besides Fortnite to be allowed to implement cross-platform features, Shawn responded with, quote, "Right now we're in a beta test program. I think that certainly once we can prove that this is all holding together, sturdy and well, I would anticipate seeing other games in the cross-play service over time." So, PlayStation crossplay isn't fully there yet, they're still limiting the feature scope, but it would seem as though it'll become available on a much wider scale in the not-so-distant future once tests are completed, though how long that'll take remains to be seen. Honestly, if things go as well as they seem to be for Fortnite, I don't foresee the beta stage taking all that long, maybe a month at most. Hopefully Sony isn't trying to engage in some kind of delay tactic or anything. Hopefully they are being genuine about pushing crossplay through as efficiently as possible so we can put all of this behind us and look forward to the future. These are just one man's thoughts and opinions anyway. I'd love to hear what your take is on Shawn's latest statements in the comments below. With that, I would like to end this news update. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoy my content and would like to support this channel directly, consider donating on Patreon. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.